The internet is absolutely buzzing right now. And if you've been scrolling through social media in the past few hours, you've probably seen the headline that has every Nigerian talking. Sheikh Gumi, one of the most controversial Islamic clerics in Nigeria, is reportedly under arrest by the United States government and the International Criminal Court following petitions from several groups. Now, before we dive deep into this story, I need to tell you that this is breaking news and information is still coming in pieces, but let me walk you through everything we know so far and why this is such a massive deal for Nigeria and the entire West African region. Sheikh Gumi has been a polarizing figure in Nigerian politics and security discussions for years now. For those who might not be familiar with him, this is a man who has positioned himself as a negotiator with bandits and kidnappers, particularly in the northern parts of Nigeria. He's been seen meeting with armed groups in forests, claiming he's trying to broker peace and encourage them to lay down their weapons. But here's where things get really interesting and where the controversy begins. Many Nigerians, civil society organizations, and even some government officials have accused him of doing far more than just negotiating. They say he's been sympathetic to these criminal elements, sometimes even appearing to justify their actions or downplay the severity of their crimes. Now, think about this for a moment. Nigeria has been dealing with a banditry crisis that has claimed thousands of lives, displaced entire communities, and made it impossible for children to go to school in some parts of the north. We are talking about criminals who invade villages, kidnap students from their dormitories, demand millions in ransom, and when those ransoms aren't paid, these innocent people suffer unimaginable horrors. So when someone with religious influence appears to be cozy with these criminals, you can imagine how that sits with the Nigerian public. It's been a source of anger and frustration for years. Several groups, including human rights organizations and associations of victims of banditry and terrorism, have been calling for action against Sheikh Gumi. They've accused him of everything from incitement to allegedly aiding and abetting terrorism. Some have even gone as far as saying he's provided moral and possibly material support to these criminal networks. These are serious accusations, and they're not coming from nowhere. There have been videos, statements, and interviews where the Sheikh has made comments that many found deeply troubling, especially families who have lost loved ones to bandit attacks. So what led to this arrest? According to the report circulating, multiple petitions were filed against Sheikh Gumi with international bodies. We're talking about petitions to the United States government and the International Criminal Court. These petitions detailed allegations of his involvement or complicity in activities that could constitute crimes against humanity, terrorism financing, or support for armed groups engaged in mass atrocities. The petitions reportedly contained evidence, testimonies from victims, documentation of his meetings with known criminals, an analysis of his public statements that allegedly incited violence or provided succor to terrorists. Now, the United States has been very active in monitoring terrorism and criminal networks in West Africa, particularly with the rise of banditry in Nigeria and the activities of groups like Boko Haram and ISWAP. The US has designated several individuals and entities as terrorists and has worked with international partners to bring those who support terrorism to justice. If Sheikh Gumi has indeed been arrested by US authorities, it would mean that they believe they have sufficient evidence linking him to activities that violate international law or US anti-terrorism statutes. This is not a small matter. This is the kind of arrest that sends shockwaves through diplomatic channels. The International Criminal Court angle is equally significant. The ICC investigates and prosecutes individuals for genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and the crime of aggression. If the ICC is involved, it suggests that the allegations against Sheikh Gumi may include complicity in crimes that have caused widespread suffering to civilian populations. The ICC doesn't just pick up cases randomly. There has to be substantial evidence and a determination that national courts are unwilling or unable to prosecute. Given that Sheikh Gumi has remained a free man in Nigeria, despite numerous calls for his arrest, international bodies may have decided to step in.